Namaste everyone, this is Avanti, and if you are new here, welcome. As you can probably see, I'm sitting on a college campus. I graduated from Harvard last year. Now who am I to tell you? You might be wondering. So I have lived exactly half my life between the US and India, which is why I sound like this. I was born here, but I did middle and high school in India, and then I came back for college, of course. Would love to just walk y'all through some of the mistakes that I think people make when they move to the US, which I really wish people would avoid. Okay, so we're sitting in one of the student lounges right now. It's called Fong Auditorium. I used to spend a lot of time here in between classes. And let's talk about mistake number one. I think a lot of people, jab wo US aate hain, they assume that everything here is better just because it's American. I don't blame people because, we grow up watching TV shows, movies that are mostly Western. Ye, fitur ho jati hai, and you just have this idea in your mind that, everything in America is it's American, so it's modern and Western and bigger and better. But that's just not true. There are things that I like about the US, but there are a lot of things that I think are pretty shitty, if I'm being honest. Like small, simple examples. Let's think of practical things, like the medical industry here. Oh my god, it's so expensive, and there are multiple issues with the medical industry here. If you want to go to a doctor, you have to have insurance, but then you have to go to one to get to another, and then the appointment ke liye kabhi it takes like 2 months, and it's just a whole headache, and then you still have to pay a lot of money, or medicines are very, very expensive. Whereas if you end up moving here, or if you end up coming here, please make sure that you carry a little dabba of medicines with you so that you are fine and that you're not worrying about all of that. Speaking of things that are expensive, the second biggest mistake people make is ignoring their finances. Yes, I am now in a lecture hall, and let's sit down and give you a lecture about finances. If you're moving to another country, it's important that you build credit in all the countries that you're in, so it helps you in the long term. But the problem is that when you move to the US, you'll see most people who come will use debit cards because their credit history doesn't transfer over and they have to start from scratch, and you're not able to build your US credit history from day one. And there's so many people who I wish they knew more. There are options like Zolve that allow you to apply for a high limit US credit card. So if you're a student, I think the range is around 1,000 to 5,000 per month. And if you're a working professional, the range is around 10,000, which is pretty high. And the cool part is there's no application fee, no monthly fee, no minimum US balance required, none of that stuff. And all you need is your details from India, so your paperwork, visa, jo bhi, and your PAN card, but anything that you would essentially need to give an Indian bank, that's all they need. They provide a US account, you don't need social security or any of the other things usually banks ask you for in the US. You can also do it sitting in India. So before you come, you will have access to US account, a high limit credit card, all of these things that honestly make your transition so much easier, because otherwise when you're scrambling for finances, when you're scrambling to use a credit card or use basic tools that all of your other friends here will use, it really eats away at your mind. So you can literally sit in India, super easy to apply, you can apply online. And there's a special referral link in the description box. If you use that link, you will get $30 on activating a new credit card. The Avanti special. Yeah, honestly, it's a great option. I wish something like this existed when we were going, because I know so many of my friends who have just graduated and still have had no way to build credit history. This way, and right now, if you are a student who has just come to the US within, this fall semester, the last few months, or if you're going in the spring, or if you're a new working professional who's moving, basically if you've just moved or you're moving within the year, or even for the future, then it's a great option. My point is, please get your finances in order. Also, if you watch my videos, you know that somewhere in the video we usually ask you to comment below if you've been watching till this point, sometimes toward the end, but aaj ke liye I want to see if you have watched here. So if you have watched here, please comment below Paisa. And let's move on to mistake number 3. Please don't change who you are. When people move to a new place, I find too often they change parts of themselves that they really like just in an effort to fit in. Totally grow, totally change. Those are important. But don't change your accent if you're doing it just to please somebody. We're so obsessed with accents. You're probably like, oh yeah, you sound like this. When I moved to India, people used to make fun of me for sounding like this. And now on the internet, you all fake Valley accent, Didi, whatever. You do you, I don't care. And I think that it's important that you just feel comfortable in your own skin. Don't feel a pressure to, you know, change the way you speak or your accent. If you don't want to, if you do, then just know why you're doing it. Don't do it just to fit in, basically. You don't have to give up on your value system just because everybody around you is doing something. I don't drink, I don't smoke, what are the other things people do? I don't do any of those things. I basically drink pani and garam pani, and that's mostly for my voice. And that's mostly because that was just my own personal choice and values. Not that there's anything inherently wrong or good or bad or whatever about anybody who chooses to do anything. I have a lot of thoughts about this. If you want me to make a separate video on why I don't smoke, drink, or gamble, OGs will know what this is a reference to. I'm gonna put a thumbnail here of my song on the spot. But let's move on to point number 4. I'm gonna keep this next one short and sweet. I know I said stick to who you are, which is important. That doesn't mean all of your experiences have to stick to that. Let me explain what I mean. Okay, I'm just gonna show you what's going on behind me. People are hanging out. This is very college, and I absolutely love it. And the reason I show this to you is because don't make only one type of friend. I see too many people who move to the US especially who will be friends only with Indians or only with people from the country that they're from, which is fine. I understand craving that ghar wala feeling, and comfort is really, really important. So definitely have friends who are from... Hi! I am! Hi!
I see your Instagram. It's so nice.
Oh my gosh, it's nice to see you too. 1 second.
Where's this gonna go?
Oh my
though?
gosh,
So
it's
bad.
on YouTube. No, you look wonderful. Okay. Hi!
Hey.
Do you want to share your names?
Yeah, I'm Adya.
Hi,
I'm
Adya.
Raj.
Hi, Raj. I was talking to the wonderful humans about making friends at college. How is it for y'all? Has it been easy? Not?
Yeah.
You can go first.
I think it's interesting, right? Like COVID was a thing, so I feel like initially we made a ton of friends freshman year, and then we stayed tight with them over COVID, and then like this year has just been like the same exact vibe of freshman year, in which we're just meeting everyone again.
100%. Do you feel like you've been able to make friends from different cultures and different backgrounds?
I definitely try to. It's like hard as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I'm from Delhi.
You're from Delhi?
So everyone here feels like a different culture. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of adapting, but it works out. I think you find your people.
Oh, 100%. And there's people for everyone. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. The last point I want to make, I think, is the most important, so hear me out. Please don't ignore your wellness when you move to another country. It can be difficult, I know, but there are ways. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Food. So especially if you come to college here, you'll find that there's food around you everywhere. You'll have cookies everywhere, pizza everywhere, ice cream in the dining halls, and it can get really easy to just eat a lot of sugar, eat a lot of unhealthy things, and that's why there's this concept that people say freshman 15 or whatever, where people essentially put on a lot of weight because they are eating things that are not good for them, not good for their system. It is hard to find veg food in some places, but more of the world is becoming more vegan and, you know, vegetarian friendly. So you just have to be really intentional about your food, the food you have access to through college or through work. Just be mindful and take care of it, prioritize it, because a lot of the food especially if you're coming from India, most people are used to eating fresh khana, fresh sabzi, fresh, you know, just vegetables basically, and a lot of food here is processed. So just be careful about what you're eating, because even if you're not putting on weight, it's just not good for you sometimes. So be intentional about that. And it is possible to find veg options. You'll probably eat more leaves than you're used to, but that's okay because that's also good for you. Exercise. When you're on college campuses, often you walk a lot, so like we've been walking while talking during this thing. So it is easy to find natural ways to exercise like that. But what is difficult is sometimes it's expensive if you want to sign up for a gym or something. So find more natural ways to exercise, you know. And even the climate, I mean, it is so cold right now. Obviously I've been going in and out. This is a very thick and nice and heavy jacket. For things like this, definitely invest in like a one solid good jacket that makes you feel warm if you're in a cold climate. Go invest in a good one that will last you for years and years and you'll be fine. And lastly, just invest in your mental health. You're in the US, they may talk about mental health more than you're even used to in India, which is great. But don't forget that you have to check in on yourself. And यहाँ पे it can get lonely sometimes, if I'm being very honest with you, you know, घर पे, when you're in India, you're used to being surrounded by people all the time, whether you live in a larger family situation or, you know, there's always like a doodh wala or sabzi wala or like someone. But here it can get lonely. So check in on yourself, invest in your mental health. There's a lot of resources that your college or your work environment will provide you, and have a great time. It's fun when you move to a new place, and I think it's important to just stay true to who you are, find your people, grow out of your comfort zone, get your life shit in order, whether that's food or finances or all of that, and you'll be totally fine. So, you know, at the point where you watched all the jazz, I will see who has watched that point and who's commented below, but sending you all lots and lots of love. I did film a bunch of other videos while I was here. I tried to do a little bit of a campus tour, met some Indian students, you know, things like that. So I'll put those out soon. And I filmed on a few other campuses. But if you have any other questions, let me know below. And sending you all lots and lots of love. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.
I'm jealous of all the people who loved you before me. I'm jealous of all the lips that got to kiss your soft. You say they all legitimate, made you so you were made for me. I'm jealous of all the people who loved you before